All right, hi all. Hi everyone at Block Tempo fans. So there's three pillars of the NEO, as you say. There are digital assets, digital identity, and smart contracts. And these are the three main things that we believe are needed to create a smart economy. So for digital assets, we aim to make all assets digital. And in terms of digital identity, we believe that in order for a smart contract platform to work together with the economy we have today, we have to be able to know who the other person in a smart contract agreement is. For example, if you have a traditional contract between the two of us, then we would sign with our names. But I would also ask to see your ID card or your passport, and you would ask me for the same. And that's what we also that's what we lack in the digital decentralized economy. So that's what we need to introduce there as well. And it doesn't have to be enforced, but it should at least be optional. So if two people want to be in an agreement on something, then they should be able to know who the other person is. And in terms of smart contract, I believe we have seen a lot of examples from other platforms what we can actually achieve by having Turing-complete smart contracts. So it can bring a lot of efficiency into industry where traditionally there has been sort of a black box. You don't know what happens at the company's side. So there's a lack of trust. And this is what smart contract can. First of all, it can allow for trustless execution of code. And it can also automate a lot of things that traditionally has been done manually. So from my perspective, scalability is not really an issue at all, at least not from NEO's technological standpoint. So at the moment, I think there are something 20 to 30 applications building on top of the NEO blockchain. And we are using a consensus algorithm that is different from Ethereum. So at the current state, we can handle around 1,000 transactions per second, which already in itself is quite a lot higher than Ethereum. And we plan to, or our goal is to have 100,000 transactions per second by end of 2020. And this is on the main chain without any off-chain scaling and without dynamic charting on the main chain itself. So in terms, and of course you also have the off-chain scaling possibilities. So you have seen, for example, Raiden or Lightning Network or dynamic sharding, state channels. These kind of technologies, these are not limited to whatever platform they are developed on. But these technologies are also applicable to NEO. So you could actually develop the same off-chain scaling solutions for NEO as well, which can make our main chain speed even faster than other blockchain. I think you should see main chain speed as the multiplier. So if you have a main chain speed of let's say 40 transactions per second, and you have an off-chain scaling on top of that, then you still have 40 the on-chain speed as the multiplier. But if you have a main chain speed that handles, let's say, 1,000 transactions per second, where we are today, and you put on off-chain scaling capabilities on that, then 1,000 is the multiplier. So in terms of adding up both main chain speed and off-chain scaling capabilities, I don't see any issues with scalability at all. And on top of that also we have the NEOX cross-chain protocol. So it allows any blockchain that is using the NEO virtual machine to connect and communicate with the main NEO chain, both with transaction and also with the invocation across different chains. So what the company could do is to actually start develop on the NEO main chain, and then if the main chain would not be sufficient enough, they could just pull it off on their own chain and then have that still connected to the NEO main chain. So there are a lot of possibilities and capabilities for the NEO blockchain. So in terms of scalability itself, I don't see any limitations in that part. Transaction fee can actually not be paid by gas. It can only be transferred by gas, or not by NEO, only by gas. So NEO and gas token have a little bit difference. NEO token is actually a governance token. So the NEO token is used to vote for the consensus nodes, and the consensus nodes are the nodes that are participating in creating or producing the next blocks in the blockchain. And the gas token is actually the utility token. So for paying fees on the network, for example, deploying a smart contract or paying fees, then you would pay in the gas token. I think the only similarity is that both platforms have Turing-complete smart contract support, and the similarities end there. I'm not sure where that comparison started out. I mean, NEO is a global project. It's started by founders from China, so that's where it has its roots, but it's a big global project. And for someone who is not familiar with the blockchain technologies or with the capabilities of blockchain platforms, for them it can be an easy way of understanding what is NEO. Well, it can do basically the thing that Ethereum can do, so they call it the Chinese Ethereum. But that's not really fair, because NEO can do so much more than that. And the vision of NEO is also very different from Ethereum. So Ethereum, my impression of Ethereum, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they want to build unstoppable applications. So their main focus is to build as decentralized as possible with its benefits and disadvantages. While NEO's goal is totally different. So NEO wants to build a smart economy. We actually want to build an ecosystem that makes our current economy more efficient. And we have, for example, compliance as a very important value, because to work and make the current economy more efficient, we also need to comply with the jurisdiction that we have in different areas around the world. So in terms of that, and digital identity is of course part of it. And the sidechains is of course also an important part of it, because you may have jurisdiction in certain areas where it's not legal to communicate directly with a decentralized public blockchain. And in those cases you could actually have a private chain for certain specific scenarios where it's not legal to have a public blockchain. So everything that we do and everything that we develop has this in our back of our mind, that what we're actually doing is not the smart contract platform. What we are building is actually a smart economy. So the current encryption algorithm in NEO is already very secure and already have a certain degree of quantum computing resistance. But it also depends on the power of the quantum computer, of course. So we have the NEOQS, which is on our roadmap to be developed. And for more technical details on that, I think Eric, our architect on NEO, in the NEO Council, is a good person to ask. So the technical details regarding to that, I'll leave that to him to answer. Of course, token value is important to keep in mind, because people put money in the project, but our focus has never been on the token value. So the market sets the value and we leave it at that. So the NEO team itself, we are very focused on the technology. So if you join, for example, if you go to our Discord and see what kind of people that are in our Discord, you will see that 90% of them are developers. So we are a very tech-focused project. We are open source, anybody can join. And we're quite special also that we reward only after contributions. So we never give tokens to someone to do something. It's always the other way around, that people are interested in NEO, they want to help NEO. They do it because they find it interesting, and when they do that, then we will give them a reward afterwards. And that's how our whole community is built up. So we are very focused on the open source culture and to just foster the technology and the development. So these kind of ratings, it's of course an honor to get that kind of rating, to get some appreciation and acknowledgement of what we are doing. Then again, how they rate, and if they are rating short term or long term, or how they set their values, that have to stand for them.